just finishing work and got back home like 5 a.m. So like I was asleep for the majority of the day. And then yeah, literally was just watching The Office and killing time until this came up. So yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So, and I just want to get everything right. So, how do you pronounce your name correctly?
Well, my name is Caden. Chasm is my musical alias, I suppose.
Do you want Caden or Chasm though?
Chasm's fine. Do that. Chasm's cool.
Chasm?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it. And KAZARAN is the band name.
KAZARAN? Am I saying it
Yeah,
right?
KAZARAN.
KAZARAN.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it,
Chasm
really.
and KAZARAN. Got
Yeah,
it.
they're
Okay.
awfully close, aren't they?
Okay. I like it. All right, we're ready to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back on Stefs Rock Show. Our next guest is a musician and a pro wrestler. Thanks for coming by.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. It's great to actually be here, and yeah, I can't wait to have a chat with you about all sorts of things today. I think it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah. Okay. So I went over Caden's the first name, but KAZARAN, is that how you say the band?
Yes, KAZARAN is the band. Yes,
What does that
Caden's obviously my
mean?
name.
What does that stand for?
So it used to be pronounced as KAZARAN, which used to be my professional wrestling name back in like 2018 or so. My name was KAZARAN Crow. And I got that from a Doctor Who episode called A Christmas Carol with Matt Smith and Michael Gambon, where the villain, who obviously is the Scrooge who gets turned to being good, is called Kazran Sardik. And so I liked the name Kazran, and so I added another A in there to make it Kazaran, which was then my name. And then after a while, like I was wrestling for quite a few years, and then I had a bit of a break, did some more music stuff and whatever, and didn't really know if I was going to go back to wrestling or not. And so when I had to figure out a name for the metal band, when we sort of started to, me and Travis just started to do some work together, I just sort of thought, like, I don't know if I'm going to use the Kazran name, or if not. And so we decided, well, I put forward the name KZRN, which is obviously KAZARAN, but just sort of shortened version of the wrestling name. And so that's sort of how it went. And then after a while, after the first release, and we were doing the next couple of releases coming up, I sort of thought to myself, oh, maybe I should just like cut the whole thing off and just like put the full name in there. Because everyone like who sort of has known me and known the band stuff sort of knew it stood for that like name. And so after a while, it was kind of like, let's put the band off. We'll just call it the entire name. And now I just sort of pronounce it differently, just so there's a bit of a difference to it, I suppose. But yeah, that's where KAZARAN comes from. So it's I like the name. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really unique. So, and then you have been in Australia, but you're in England now. Can you tell me about this transition? How have you been all over the world living?
Yeah, so I lived in Australia for obviously the majority of my life, Adelaide, South Australia. And yeah, come like it goes back a bit far. This would be probably a bit of a tangent, a bit of a drivel discussion, but that's fine.
I got time. I got time.
Yeah, perfect. I was gonna say I'm so not used to being interviewed because I did my own podcast as well previously, and so I'm so used to being on the receiving end of like asking all the questions and stuff. So it's actually quite nice to be like the one.
I
Who's
like people that like to talk though, because then I'm not pulling things out of you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. I felt the exact same thing. Some podcasts were the best, where the guest just kind of went off, and you're just sort of sitting there like, yeah, this is great. They just keep going on. But yes, so getting back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I moved over to London in 2023. Honestly, just wanting to get out of Adelaide. After a while, it was just like, I guess if you've been in a sort of in a place for a very long time, you just kind of get the itch to want to go somewhere else. And Adelaide's lovely. It's a great place. Obviously, I was born there. Friends and family are there. But after a while, it does sort of trap you a little bit, I think. Just like it's not like a big city like a Sydney or a Brisbane. It's more of a condensed sort of feel. And especially being a creative, there's things that I kind of wanted to do that I couldn't really do there, and I wanted to see if I could do them elsewhere. And so I was lucky enough to gain a passport through my family, who my mother was English, to get a British passport done. And then once I sort
I
of
thought you were
had
gonna
that.
say 90 Day Fiance, like you married some chick online in England. That would have been kind of
Oh
cool.
man, that would yeah, if only,
Yeah.
right?
But yours was
Anyway.
more legit. Like you got a legit family member
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
would,
I just sort
yeah.
of yeah, it was cool. Like we just sort of I sort of just had the discussion with her because she obviously didn't really want to wasn't looking to go back or even have her own citizenship at the time because she's been living in Australia now for the majority of for the last like 20 years or so. Happily married to my father. And yeah, so we got that all sorted out. I had a passport and then so yeah, I went there and lived for about 10 months, which was good. I was obviously much younger. I think I was 27 then, and had no idea what I was doing at all. I look back at it now as more so being like, I wouldn't say it was a holiday, but I wouldn't say I was living because I was very dependent on family. Because I just everything is the transition from England to Adelaide is massively huge. Obviously, things are more expensive. The pound can trick you a lot, especially
Yeah.
Australians, because everything looks like it's cheaper, but it's not.
Same with Americans, I'll go, "Oh, that was only a couple dollars," but no, well, the time I was over there in the early 2000s, our dollar was not worth as much as the pound, so I didn't realize I was spending more.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I went to what was it? Rockville, Daytona Rockville last year. And that was my first
Nice.
time in America. And so even when I was over there for that festival, I was still trying to do the conversion from like Australian to American. And I'm like, all right, it's not quite as bad as the pound, but it's like it's just a bit better. So it's like about like where the Australian dollar gets cut in half with the pound, it's kind of like the American dollar is almost like a third or so. So it's like not as bad, but you get a little bit more for it, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just sort of here for a while and like yeah, just exploring and just trying different things and just yeah, trying to just figure out what I was doing. The idea that I did have was doing obviously more of this band stuff like for KAZARAN over here, because I wanted to relocate, but I still wanted to record and write music. So the idea was sort of like we could sort of cross record things from like I could do vocals here in London, they can do the drums and the guitars there. We can communicate through that way, still put out studio releases. Like the main idea with the band was more so just like just writing and recording metalcore music for the fun and just the nostalgic, like the feel that we get because we love the 2000s metalcore, the early 2000s metalcore.
Yeah, me too.
And so yeah, so in doing that, that was sort of the idea. So it was sort of almost trying to go back to that sort of way of doing it. But again, because I'd just come over to a brand new place, I didn't know how things worked, so it hindered the process a little bit. Again, recording costs a lot. My voice was not up to scratch a lot of that time as well. So, but yeah, so the first time I was here, it was basically like a trial. It's almost like a trial error, like a hit and miss, sort of figuring things out and how it all kind of goes. And then yeah, I came back to Australia at the end of 2023. There was some just medical issues with my family, but everyone's all good now, which is great. But I sort of stayed around for a little bit longer just because I obviously wanted to see everybody and make sure that everyone sort of got through it all very, very well. And then, yeah, I got back into wrestling in the back part of my London living trip. And then so when I went back to Australia and I sort of was there for a bit, I didn't know how long I was going to be there for. I just decided to go back to a new school there and start training. And yeah, so that sort of kept me there for about another year and a half. And then my living situation was obviously just always, I was just in a place with friends. And then we had to move out and things happened. So then I just moved in with another friend. But then I'd have to be out by a certain time because that's like the fringe time around February time. So my time was always sort of limited where I was living as well. So after a while, it just came sort of clear to me like, okay, what do you want to do? Like what's the sort of idea you think you want to have? And in the end, it was like, I definitely want to go back to London and just, there's just things there that I know that I can do. But I think I can do them better this time. And now that I am back here, it's again, a very different life, but it is really good because I am doing things better this time. Even if sometimes it doesn't seem like I am doing things better than I was, I definitely am doing better than I was when I was here the first time. So, but yeah,
Which government gives you more freedom, like government wise? Do you think Australia or England?
I mean, kind of both, I guess. It's kind of hard to say. Like, as I said, I'm very creative and all that kind of stuff. I don't keep up with a lot of like the news and that sort of shit. I mean, obviously London's very expensive. That's the only thing that I will say.
Yeah.
So like, and because of the transport and that sort of thing, like different zones cost different money and like at different amounts and all that kind of stuff. So depending where you might work on a certain day, You might be paying more to go somewhere than you would be paying on like an off-peak time or some peak time. So when it comes to that sort of thing, it's very like you just think you need to be able to have money to live here.
Oh yeah,
Everything's
any major
expensive,
city.
for sure.
What about America? Would you ever move over here?
I thought about it. Like, America is one of those places where I would love to go back, sort of at least once a year, just to see different places. Because obviously, the last time I went to Orlando in Florida, then went up to Daytona for the Rockville Festival, which was amazing. I just, again, like the metalcore kid in me, just loved the fact that I could see all of these amazing bands in like a 3 or 4 day setting. And like these are like kind of bands that you don't see, they don't come down to, Adelaide, South Australia very often, if not at all. So it's almost like to see them, you kind of have to go where they are if you want to actually see them. And obviously,
We forget how lucky we are in America to see these bands all the time. We're very privileged.
Yeah, it's insane. I even just meeting a few people there, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's like my 3rd time seeing this band." And it's like I haven't seen this band ever, and this is like my favorite band. Like they've never come down to like for me to see them.
Yeah, I'll lose track of how many times I've seen Korn or Linkin Park, and Limp Bizkit, and someone's like, "Oh, this is my 3rd time," and I jumped on an airplane to come out to Aftershocks, our big festival in California, and they're like either from out of state or out of the country, and it blows my mind because I live down the street, and I'm like, "Oh, I've just been doing this for years," and like it's good to meet people like that and remind yourself how lucky you are to get to see these huge name bands all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that because Aftershocks the one in, I think, is it around September, October, I think is usually after that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I wanted to go back to Rockville this year, and it was a pipe dream because I mean last year I made it work just last year, and this year it was like, yeah, I can make it work because the lineup this year is even better. Like it's even better, and I was like, I have to make this work. But with moving over to London and then obviously moving into a place of my own where I now have to pay rent and all that kind of stuff as well.
It's a lot.
It was just, I just had to, it was great. I was in Scotland. I was in Edinburgh, just having a nice little solo trip at the time. And I was walking just everywhere all around it. And I was walking from like the Spirit of Tasmania ship all the way to Arthur's Seat, which is miles, but I'm one of those guys that when you start walking, you just kind of keep on going until you sort of get to where you think you're going.
Not me. I'm like, it's been half a mile. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
I like to date young guys so they can put me in a wheelchair one day and push me around. I'm not a big walker these days.
Push up the big hill to Arthur's Seat. Love that.
I like to sit.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like sort of stop into pubs every now and then. I'll have a quick fucking beer, and then right off we go to the next one, and off we go to the next one. And I was
okay, that's
in
fun.
One.
You didn't throw.
Yeah.
If I'm going to drink and there's a new place to drink at, I will walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And yeah, I was just in this pub, and just I had like a what was it? McEwen's extract beer. Just like I was really good. I was just sitting there, and it was just great because it was just one of those moments where I've been walking so far, and I've already had a few whiskeys and stuff, and I'm just sort of sitting in this bar, and still not at the Arthur's Seat yet, and I was just sitting there with my beer, and my brain was just like, Caden, you can't do it this year. You can't go. I'm sorry.
You got to be a responsible adult. You have to adult sometimes.
You got to let it go, man.
And it's alive.
It's like so much weight will lift from your shoulders if you just let this go. And so literally right then and there, I sent them the email of like, I'm so sorry, I can't go. Can you refund this and that, whatever? And they did. They refunded everything because obviously it was like 2 or 3 months before the cutoff period for it all. But literally,
that's really cool. That's good to know that DWP's festivals, they will refund you if things happen.
Yeah, they were very nice about it. But then
and
again,
you chose Florida out of every place in America. That is the most like bald eagle, American flags, mullets. That is fucking America right there.
Yeah. It was, like, because it was my first trip there. It was one of those things where because I wanted to do wrestling as well, I always try and, if I'm going there for one thing, I'll try and find something else that I can also do. So I'm not just going there for one thing.
Good idea.
If that makes sense. Especially because the festival's 4 days. So for me, it's like, well, I mean, I was going, this was last year, right? So this is a fun bit of information, actually. So in all, I did 12 flights in 16 days.
What?
Like all together, in the all together. So
I hate taking off. I hate taking off. Like, I get takeoff anxiety. Is that weird? I fly all the time. I hate taking off still to this day. Like, how did you take off 12 times in 16 days? That would give me a mini heart attack.
Yeah, I've always liked planes and airports and just sort of flying around. It's just something that I've always liked. It's like that jet setter sort of mentality. I kind of like.
I gotta get drunk.
Yeah, no, I do. I wait every now and then you do.
I'll talk
Um,
to the person next to me to distract me, and I literally have to, like, gab, or I've asked to hold their hand because I don't like takeoff. I hate
oh damn, righto.
flying. I wish
Um,
I liked it.
yeah, no, yeah, it's just something that I've sort of always kind of enjoyed. But no, so I
Yeah.
flew from Adelaide to Auckland, Auckland to Houston, Houston to Orlando, and that was the first. That was literally just to get there. So it was like four just to get there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then literally I was there for about 4 or 5 days. What it was had to go. Because I did some wrestling training there as well. Because as I said before, I wanted to try and do more things than just do the festival. So I went to the Foundation of Pro Wrestling under Ace Steel. That was recommended to me by one of my trainers at Riot City Wrestling, Matt Hayter, and that was brilliant. It was so much fun, and I did it just before I went up to Daytona to see the festival, and then I came back down and then did Orlando to San Francisco, San Francisco back to Auckland, Auckland back to back to Adelaide, and then I went back to my place for the night. I slept, and then I went to the airport the next day because it was my granddad's 90th birthday in New Zealand. So I
Oh my
flew
god.
from Adelaide back to Auckland, where I literally was just there about 24 hours beforehand. It was literally cheaper for me to fly back to Auckland the next day, and because we had to go to Tauranga, which is another flight outside of Auckland.
I
Went
bet your
there,
internal
and
clock was fucked. Like, you
it
were all
was it was all
messed
over the
up on
place.
day and nights and when to sleep.
Yeah, it was all over the place. But yeah, that was a nice little fun outing last year. But I've considered sort of going to America. But one thing that I would like to do is, knowing that there's so many awesome festivals all over America, is sort of like try and pick one every year, so that way I can go and see a festival, but then I can also go and see a new part from America every single year. And then obviously, if there's like a wrestling school near there or something like that, go out and see if I can like crack a training there. So it's sort of like I can almost again like sort of see America that way. Because again, I've only been to Florida really, and I mean I went to San Francisco and walked outside the airport for about 3 hours. That was about it really.
You
But
gotta you
yeah,
gotta do more. I would highly suggest South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. That's a
okay,
great music festival. And also, the South, I think, likes wrestling the most, like Texas,
okay,
Arkansas,
yeah,
Mississippi, Florida. I love wrestling. My kids love wrestling. So we're gonna go to Monday Night Raw next week in
uh,
Sacramento. They're like on tour, and
yeah,
do you have
definitely,
a favorite wrestler that you looked up to or that you like to watch the
yeah.
most? Or
Yeah. I was a big Edge fan when I was a kid. I just loved, I liked his look. I thought I looked similar to him, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I always sort of really liked him. My dad was a big like sort of Undertaker fan, so we'd watch like if the Undertaker was on TV or if we happened to have a DVD or whatever, he would walk into the room. He'd be like, "Oh, the Undertaker!" So he'd just sit down, watch it with me. So that was always quite a fun time. And my
yeah.
brother really liked Jeff Hardy, which was cool too. And obviously, I liked Edge, so we would watch like the TLC matches with like them and the Dudley Boys, or just those two going at it, which was quite cool. And then when it came to kind of like more so my creative ambitions, I leaned more so into Chris Jericho because he was in a band and he was also a wrestler as well. And those were sort of the two things that I wanted to do. And then later on, obviously, he did podcasting, and then I also did podcasting. So it was kind of like, I was like, oh, if he was just doing all the same things that I kind of wanted to do. So that was sort of, he was cool to sort of to watch and kind of look up to, and sort of like read into seeing how he decided to go about the way of like making those things all part of his life, which was cool. So
I feel like a
um
lot of podcasters are creative in different elements. Like, kind of why
mm,
you're good at starting a podcast is you've had your hands in many pots of,
mm,
entertainment.
that's literally me.
So the wrestling outfits, though, I gotta say, they're so hot. Well, do you do like the tight, little underwear, the Speedo, or is there like, and then how do you literally keep your junk safe during wrestling? That's just what comes to my mind when I watch it.
Yeah, it is very strange. I don't mind. I don't wrestle in trunks. I have tried them on once before, but I kind of just felt a bit too exposed.
What if a ball
Um,
pops out the side really quick while
I
you're
mean, it
trying to
definitely
do it?
could. It has to be like a
Yeah.
real tight fitting one so that it does sort of stay in. I've more say been inclined to like the long tights. I don't mind wearing like the long tights. They're quite nice, but again, they also are like you don't want anything to like rip or tear. Like that's always sort of like in the back of your head. You don't want anything
The
like that to
crotch
happen.
area tears easily with men, especially jumping that much in the air and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
what if you made I
you
know
try
Lenny
and
Kravitz had his break on stage. Did you see that? And
no, I
his
haven't actually.
penis came out. Oh my
Oh
gosh, it
man.
was like a third leg. But yeah, you gotta be careful with you know, I guess your wardrobe is very important in wrestling, and then not having a malfunction.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, especially if you get gear, some of the things that we like to do is like, if you get your gear, you try and like stretch it out just so it's like it can bend, it can flex. You try and do some really deep squats so you can see that it's going to be like, flexible enough to be able to hold you. Because I mean, as I said, with wrestling, you do so many explosive moves, especially from like the hip area,
Yeah.
that like you want it to be able to be malleable so you can actually like, not risk having a tear or anything like that at all, really. But yeah, for the guys, not too bad. For the ladies, especially, I think it's probably a bit more high risk because of they have like obviously much less on really, but some of their like outfits are quite elaborate in like the way that they're strapped and all that kind of stuff. And like, if any, like again, you're getting slammed on the thing, that sort of thing. So hell, if one of those things kind of pop off, that's when it kind of gets a little bit like, oh, like I feel like they
Pop a
would have a
titty
lot
out.
more. Yeah, I feel like
Just
they
pop
would
a
probably be
titty
a bit
out.
more stressed out, possibly of something going wrong. But then again, yeah, like anything can happen. That's the good thing. That's the crazy thing about wrestling is that anything can literally happen at any given time, and you can't plan it. It just happens.
Yeah. So the band, are you guys still kind of spread out and doing more of like an internet relationship? Or are you looking to find a new band where you're at so you can do more physical playing and touring right now? Or what's going on with you musically?
At the moment, yeah, we're also just like doing our own kind of separate things. So, um, the three of us are sort of at the moment all in our own sort of different sort of projects and that sort of thing as well. And again, this is an EP that's been done and sort of recorded for quite a while now. Like lots of the songs were written kind of like 2021, 2022, that sort of thing. And then so the real like last minute parts of it were done last year. But it's basically been all sort of molded together for a while now. But yeah, so a lot of the guys like Rory, our drummer, he's in 4 or 5 different bands himself within the Adelaide scene.
Wow.
Some of them are releasing new music and doing an album. I think Akosa's doing a new album. I think Wings of Thanatos, another one of his bands, is putting out new music soon as well. And then Travis recently just started a project with Hank Plajamars, who was a feature on one of our songs in our first EP, who's also a really good friend of ours, played live with us and that sort of thing, called First We Fall. So they're also writing an EP together and doing some work. And obviously I'm over here doing the wrestling and obviously now putting this out, promoting it, that sort of thing. But it's more so one of those things where we'd like to keep it sort of like we'll write songs kind of when the spark kind of happens and when it sort of comes about. And then because we work really well together when things kind of happen, but we do have that sort of mentality of like, if the feeling's good and I've got an idea, like I'll write it down, blah, 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 and then send it here or whatever. But yeah, for now, I had little ideas when I first sort of came here to sort of see if I could make another band out of it, but I don't think I do because I just like working with Travis. I love working with Rory, even if it's across the globe or if it's in the same room. Like they're both just such incredible musicians. I just like the fact that this is something that we're able to do together, and I can get my fix of being a screaming metal frontman out by working with, again, 2 of the best metal musicians that Adelaide has to offer. So, but we're just like,
It's hard to
happy.
find people you have really good chemistry with, and when you do, you don't wanna lose that spark that what's cool about you being in music and wrestling, you could write your own walkout song. You're kinda
Yeah,
ready
no,
to go.
I have. I did.
That's
I did.
awesome.
Yeah, it's I wrote 2. I had 2 actually. Travis wrote both of them awesomely. Yeah, the
Way
first one I had
cool.
was when I had obviously the KAZARAN name. And he wrote one for me, which is a really nice heavy metal track. I used it every now and then. And then yeah, when I had this new character, I sort of wanted to go in a different approach. So I sort of messaged him, oh, can you write me a song kind of like this? And it was great because I just sent like a voice memo of a few things. And he wrote it for me. He's like, oh, I don't know if it really suits, but like I'll do it anyway. I'm like, sure, thanks, man. But no, it's great.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, now that I'm over here and I've got the wrestling or whatever, like it's my own song. It's nice because I have had a few people when I have had matches kind of be like, oh man, who does your song? I'm like, I do my song. I sing it.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
Would
and
you
it's
rather
nice.
be the good guy or the villain?
I like for the character that I am at the moment, I actually don't mind being a good guy. Because I was a bad guy for a long time. Back home in Riot City, and that was quite fun, especially because like a lot of the crowd had a lot of jeers and they could poke a lot of fun at me because I've got like a graphic, very bright suit and an umbrella and a top hat and like nail polish and makeup. So there's a lot that you can sort of take the mickey out of if I'm a bad guy. I didn't actually think I was going to get cheered, but then when we had I had my first match here, I was facing I was obviously facing a bad guy. But yeah, there were the things I did got cheers, and it was quite nice. I do like it when you can sort of be cheered, and like at the end you go out, and people come up and they want to meet you and that sort of thing. It's quite nice being a good guy in that respect, because you've got like the kids come up to meet you and like, oh, blah, blah, no, they're really happy that this and that, whatever. While if you're a bad guy, they're probably not as inclined to come up to the bad guy and want a photo or want a sign, because obviously he's a bad guy and they've been yelling abuse at him for like the last 25 minutes. Yeah, I think I like the good guy at the moment, but it's cool. There's fun things with the umbrella, with like the umbrella that I use, that I can do for both a good guy and both a bad guy. So I like that I can sort of figure out little things that make it interesting and fun.
Umbrella prop sounds fun. I think I'd like being a villain though. I like being a bad girl. I don't know if I'd want to be the good girl. Even though you get hated though. It is funny, but you're hated expectedly. I always have a game. Can I do a fun game where it says, would you do it? And I just ask you things and you tell me if you would do it or not?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So would you do it skydive?
Would I do a skydive? Oh, I don't think so.
As many flights as you take, you're not jumping out of one.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, that's a very good question, because I do like flying, but yeah, I don't. It was weird. I thought about this the other day, actually, just randomly, because I think one of my friends did it recently, and yeah, I don't know. I like being up high, but I like sort of just being up high and looking and not sort of falling closer in the direction that I'm looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
An unplanned tattoo.
Yes, I've done that. I have done that. I have I have a corn tattoo actually that I got done. That was unplanned.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I came back here in 2024 just for a month because I wanted to go on holiday. So, and my tax money had come in, so I decided to go on holiday to Ireland, and I came back to London to some things. But they played a show in Gunnersbury Park with Spirit Box. And I have not seen Spirit Box in Adelaide or in Australia. I've only seen them in England and Scotland. But yeah, Korn had a show in Gunnersbury, and they have pop-up stores here where they're like, oh, if you go to this Brewdog, we're going to play Korn songs all day, and there's a tattooist, and there's like beers that we're going to name after them, and little like things the chef's going to make especially for this thing. And again, you don't really get that back home. So I went, and this is great. And they were doing Korn tattoos there. And I was just, oh, cool. And there was like, that's some exclusive merch there. There wasn't anything really that stuck out to me. But yeah, there was just like they had like a bit of the tattoo pattern and stuff. And then I just decided to get a tattoo just right then and there, which was fun. And I was like, oh yeah, but it was like the one that was like, the least, it was like, just like the writing. I think it was like Still a Freak. It's on the back of my calf muscle. But the good thing about that was
unplanned run-in.
Yeah, it just sort of happened. But the fun thing about that was that the girl that I met who did the tattoo is actually a really good tattooist. So if I do want another tattoo, I have like, her details, so I can actually sort of, if I do want another one while I'm over here, I could work with her to get another tattoo done, which is kind of sweet. But that was a good tattoo, especially because that show was fucking nuts. It was 10 years that I hadn't seen them, because I'd only seen them at Soundwave in 2014. And so I got 10 years later at Gunnersbury 2024. And so I bought the big purple fucking sequence jacket that they had on sale, because it was 10 years, no, 20 years of, 30 years of Blind, like the self-titled album. So they had the added combo. It was great.
That's awesome. Okay, would you do it reality dating show?
No.
No. I don't think people are really finding love.
I mean, I don't have any love interest whatsoever. I've been a single man for a very, very long time. But even just the reality, I don't touch reality TV at all. I can't.
It's not for you.
I find it awful.
It's scary. You've been single for a while, then you get in your routine, because I've been single for a while now, and I think it's going to be really hard for me to get out of my lifestyle.
Yeah, literally. That's it's worse for me, because again, I've been single for pretty much the majority of my life. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say that I'm too far gone, but I can't see where where it's going to come in. You know what I mean? Like, someone has to kind of break me almost out of my entire life to sort of change it, and it's kind of like, or just to try and get me out of it, and I don't know if they can. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Okay, would you date a porn star?
That's definitely a question. I think I would. I don't know if it would last, but I think I would, because I'd want to just, yeah. I have a
You'd
lot
try
of
it.
questions. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I'd like to do it just to, yeah. I would definitely would, but yeah, we'll see. I have a lot of questions though.
Yeah.
About that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Would you try stand up?
Yeah, yes, actually, I would. I've had days in my, well, days. I've had, because I am quite wired sometimes when I go to sleep, and sometimes my body decides to go to sleep and my brain decides not to go to sleep. So it will
Oh, I
just
hate that.
go on for days. And I have had nights where I've done a whole stand-up routine in my head, just imagining that I was, because I do love stand-up comedy. Like I'm massively into it. Like Billy Connolly's my favorite comedian. I have a tattoo of his horse on my arm, which you probably can't
Yeah.
see, but it's a cool little horse. Ugh, that one.
I love
Um,
Tim Dillon. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's
Tim
so
Dillon?
funny.
No, actually, I
Yeah.
haven't. I've heard Tim Minchin, but not Tim Dillon.
You gotta look up Tim Dillon. He's so funny and absurd. And
Ah, beautiful. Yeah, but no, I definitely would, but just the day will come at some point. But not just yet. I've got too much going on to do.
yeah, we'll add that to your list.
Yeah.
Would you ever go on a safari?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's like when you just go and see like African animals and all that kind of stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't really seen many of them besides like in zoos and stuff. So yeah, I'd do that for sure. Just it'd be hot as fuck, but yeah, I'll go.
I
Give me
know,
the
right?
hat.
Would you ever open your own bar?
No, nah.
So it's if you look at the stats, it's a numbers game, it's a losing game, and it's so risky to open a bar or restaurant. So I don't know why people keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, one of my jobs outside of the one of the jobs that obviously gives me money to live is I am a supply bartender here in London. So
Nice.
like for the last 4 or 5 days, I've been to the north, east, west of London in 5 different bars, and just like worked a shift and seeing how 5 different bars operate. And yeah, like, and obviously I've been done bartending for like 6 years now, but yeah, it's like,
I feel like all of us entertainers, I've bartended on and off for like 25 years.
yeah.
It's just a great, if we're personable, we like talking to people. It's an easy, I love the restaurant industry as a fallback. Oh, I'll work, you know.
Yeah, but even just seeing how it all operates and like how different people do like handle different bits and pieces and how it's all set up, seeing all of that definitely puts me off wanting to own a bar because there's so much that goes into it, especially here.
No, same in America. It's a lot of risk, and you usually don't even see money turning around for 2 to 3 years. And then a lot of customers that are pissed off for no reason, or, you know, it's a high stress job that I would never do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Would you sleep with a torta? Do you know what that is? A torta?
A torta. You have to tell me what that is.
I just realized I think it's more of an American term that's new. And so it is a large, short, kind of, if you've seen Batman Returns, the penguin Spanish girl.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
You would sleep with a torta. Okay.
I guess. I mean, this is my first time hearing about it, but like, again, I don't get a lot of attention. So yeah, sure. Why not?
So it's just, I like, some guys are just like, this is so exciting. This girl likes me. Like, let's go for it.
Yeah, why not? Like, yeah, sure. It's weird. Yeah, I don't keep up with current trends or like the language of today, so I don't know a lot of that kind of stuff. So if I seem like I don't know, it's because I just genuinely just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why
not? Would you move to Alaska?
Yeah, screw it, why not? I like the snow, even though I might be over it by like, the third day. Fuck it, why not? I always remember the Family Guy cutaway scene when they're like summertime and it lasts like 3 minutes and they're going to like run to the ocean with the surfboard, then suddenly it gets dark and they run back. So
yeah,
I'm expecting it to be like that.
Yeah, there's periods of darkness there and it's cold. I couldn't do it. So good for you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Would you fight in a war?
Oh man, that's a rough one. I'd rather not. I'd really rather not. I don't want to kill no one, man. That's it's silly. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. it's crazy that people have done that. And obviously, all respect to the people who had to do that. But like, yeah, nah, definitely. It's one of those weird things where you would wonder if there would be a war now, like what would actually happen, because like so many people I feel like will not want to go and just start killing people.
There's so many keyboard warriors now that sit at home and only go online and don't leave their house.
Yeah,
that how would they grab a gun and go out and fight? I think. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Even like, again, like, because today is such a different time, it's like, even if they bought in conscription, like people would probably would still not even go and do it if they told they were going to do it. They'd probably go to prison or whatever. But then, like, I don't know, it's such a weird, it's just one of those things that I wonder what it would be like today. But I personally know I would not like to go to war.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to war, but I'm grateful for those that have and do and want to protect us. And then one more question of would you do it? Would you move to Canada?
Would I move? Oh, yes, absolutely. I'd move to Canada. Yes.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't, but I'd like to go there. My sister's been there. My dad went there earlier this year. I have a good friend who lives over there as well. So yeah, I would love to go over there just to, again, it'd be similar to America in the fact that I would try and go to like a place at a time to try and just see more of it. And obviously there's great wrestling schools in America as well. And there's snow there too. And like forests and moose and stuff, which I haven't seen before. Well, I've seen forests, but not moose. But yeah, that would be good. I'd like to.
That'd be sick. Well, thank you so much for stopping by Stefs Rock Show. If you have anything too you want to add more about you or where to find you, I know I'll tag you on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram of everything. But yeah, if you have anything else you want to add, go for it.
Yeah, I'd just add that, my band's new EP, In Possession, is out now by KAZARAN. And yeah, you can stream that on all your social media streaming places, just Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that kind of stuff. Give us some love if you like 2000s metalcore, like, your Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, that kind of stuff. Then I'm hoping that you'll like this. But yes, that's what I've basically got to say. But thank you very much for having me. It's been really cool to be here and have an awesome chat with you today. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. If you ever make it back to California, let me know. We got to hang out.
Oh, hell yeah, definitely. You could show me Aftershock Festival. It looks like a blast.
I'm down. Sweet. Cool. Thank you so much, dude.